Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Right here we've got a very special guitar that we're going to kind of go over today and hopefully hear a little bit from too, and that is the Gibson Custom Shop reissue of the 1955 Les Paul Standard that was debuted at the NAMM Show that year. So those who saw the unboxing video have already kind of seen it, but let's take another look at our platinum friend here for the 70th anniversary of that show, which is also the platinum anniversary. So I thought that color, which was my favorite out of all of them, was the best one to pick anyway. And this guitar is a reissue of a guitar that, for those who don't know, was made in very limited numbers. Probably only a couple existed back then, and Matt Kaler from Gibson noted on one of the videos online that someone had called and said that they had one of these that he referred to as a Battleship Gray, but that it was refinished somewhere along the line. So not sure if any of these are actually still out there in the wild, the original 1955 versions, but they were a special guitar for a couple different reasons. And first of all, we have the custom colors, which really weren't done on Gibson's, at least in their standard lineup in that time. It was really a gold top, and that's about it. This one here, along with the other four colors, there was Copper Iridescent and Viceroy Brown and Samoa Beige and Nugget Gold, in addition to this platinum one. And they had the custom color on the top, but they also had these cool custom color knobs that were sprayed in the same color. And they really are the same color in person. And the other cool thing about this particular model, if you want to call it that, it was an iteration of the model, was that it was the first Les Paul Standard to feature the ABR1 bridge. Previously to that, it was just the wraparound tailpiece, and then before that, the trapeze-style tailpiece. So the Les Paul Custom that came out in '54 had the ABR1 bridge, but not the Standard. So that made this one a little more special, and was kind of one of the reasons why I took the plunge and decided to go with this one. It was a color that I loved. It was a story that I loved, with these things being so limited when they came out. And it was also a kind of a landmark model, being the first one to have the ABR1 bridge. And in fact, they really didn't even come out with the model, like the standard line model with the ABR1 bridge, until later. So it was really kind of ahead of its time by at least a few months. So this one here is a Murphy Lab aged one, and you can see in kind of the light here some of the finish checking along it. I really like it, the finish checking. I think it came out really nice, and it's not overly done or anything like that. They're using their new way of doing it so that it's not like done by hand anymore. It's more done by some sort of heating and cooling process, is how I take it. Interestingly enough, on this one, I didn't realize that Murphy Lab ones had kind of like gouges, for lack of a better term. The paint's still there. This is a light aged, so it's not a heavy aged, but you can see it's about an inch long, and it really does go into the clear coat. And then along the edges here, you see a couple of dings that kind of broke all the way through. And then down here where you've got a couple of additional dings and some additional finish checking. And then that's the only other really big one down there. I like how, for the most part, if you were, a foot away, a couple feet away, other than the finish checking, which shows up a lot more in this light than I normally see it, you wouldn't really notice those things. It's really more like upon when you're looking at it with a fine-tooth comb, that's when you really start to notice a couple of the aging pieces. What I really do like is the aging on the hardware. I think it came out really nice. It's got that new kind of more bullet-ended ABR1 bridge that they said was something that they pulled from historical examples to get the shape right. They also rounded over, if you can see here, they rounded over the saddles so that it looks a little more worn in than the ones with the crisp edges. This is a no-wire ABR1 bridge, and I believe it is a lightweight aluminum tailpiece. It really does look like an old guitar. I think they nailed that look for sure. This guitar was finished just about 2 weeks ago. We have the case candy inside that shows it, and you can smell it. Boy, the lacquer just spilled. It smells like it was just sprayed, and it really was. So these things are right off of the production line. Another thing that I love about this particular one here is the rosewood fretboard. No, it's not Brazilian rosewood or anything, but boy, it is the most uniform and dark and richly colored rosewood fretboard I've ever had. And I've got quite a few guitars, as we all know. And it's just really beautiful. And I love these old acetate inlays. I just think they look so vintage, and they don't look like plastic in the sense that some of the the lower end ones look. They have a certain shine to them, and they really just don't look like any other type of inlay of a similar thing. One feature that I'm having some, not trouble, but it's taking some time to get used to, are these narrow, tall frets. I mean, look at how skinny those frets are. It is unbelievable, and it feels weird to play. They're so skinny, and yet they have some height to them. Let's see if we can focus in on that. They have some height to them too, and so it's just different. It takes a little time to get used to that. It has the historic truss rod cover here. It also has aging on the headstock and that low Gibson logo that I like. This one is, the pearl is so nice on it. I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of the dings on the back of the headstock here and on the top. I mean, it's interesting that they kind of made it look dirty, for lack of a better term, up there. It really does look like it's an old ding or old repairs done here. And then there's some dings on the top there that they hit with something. This one is, I think they just did them in order because it's a special serial number that they did. So it's number 343 out of 350. There were 70 done in each color. The neck doesn't have a lot of wear to it. A couple of little nicks and dings here and there from the Murphy Lab treatment. A little bit of finish checking, if you could even see it in the light here. There you go. Just a little bit there. And love this Gibson custom emblem. It's done in this kind of cool matte silver with the gold around it. Looks really nice. It does come with the back regular brown back plate. You can see the finish checking on the back. Some chewed up spots from supposed wear, Murphy Lab wear here. Again, I could live without that stuff. But it's interesting the way they did. I can understand the wear on the end here, where you're playing. But like a spot up here, it almost looks like they just kind of, like, I've had a lot of guitars and I've never had dings and wear in that particular spot. Never really dropped a tambourine on my guitar before, but it's not over the top. This is their light age. It's not their heavy age or ultra heavy, which it would be a ton of wear and buckle rash and all that stuff on the back. The strap the strap buttons also look very convincingly old. It has a really nice look to it, and they did a nice job with the hardware aging for sure. And on the plastics, they do look period correct and have that feel and look to them like they're from the 50s. And interestingly enough, has a different color to the pick guard than the pickup covers themselves, but the pick guard does match the washer here for the switch. And one thing I thought was kind of cool, if I can get a good shot of it, I'm assuming this was done on purpose. It could just be me projecting, but the pick guard looks kind of handmade in a way. The way that it's kind of rounded around the pickup there, and then it doesn't quite come to all the way over to like the fretboard here. Almost as if they tried to emulate it shrinking a little bit over time, which I thought was kind of interesting. And again, for what they've done here to make it look like an old guitar. I think really A+. It looks like a guitar from the 50s, and I really love that. So yeah, so this is the reissue of that very rare 1955 Les Paul that's in that special platinum color. And now we're going to take a look over here at our case and the case candy here. The Lifton reissue cases, if anybody's had one before, they are so heavy, and they just, I mean, they're made out of wood as opposed to some sort of particle board or something like that some of the other cases are made out of. And you can even hear it, especially when you're at this part here where that Lifton thing is. If you can listen, that's a solid block of wood right there. And it makes the case feel very sturdy, that's for sure. When it comes to case candy, we've got some cool stuff. So this here is a replica of the program that the 1955 NAMM Show had, and inside it has a copy of the original ledger that shows the 5 colors that we talked about before, and you see platinum right there, and then of course the standard certificate of authenticity. After that, we've got something that I haven't seen in a Gibson before, and I don't know if this is something new or maybe I just missed it, but it's the instrument safety manual. So I've never seen that before, but for anybody who's interested, I'll try to get a little stable shot there. You can pause it and read if you need to. And then it comes with the standard reissue, 50s reissue hang tags and things about the Murphy Lab and the Mr. Dealer card and all that. Really love this stuff here. I just love that 50s look, that 50s aesthetic to the way things were printed and fonts and stuff like that. So love that stuff. I mark out for that. And then these are the case keys, the silica packet, as we all know. Here's that brown back plate for the switch. And I thought it was kind of interesting on the guitar itself that there's like the plastic on top of the back plate. So it's like this old guitar supposedly, but it has plastic on the back plate that was never removed for 60-something years. We've also got the Gibson app card, the vintage reissue strings hang tag, the Gibson custom hang tag, the pre-packed checklists and warranty information that's all filled out. You see, this was done just 2 weeks ago. I got this on the 25th of March 2025, and it was done on 3/10, so that's pretty cool. And the model is 55 LP. And then we've also got the vintage tone circuit hang tag, and finally the other Gibson hang tag here with, again, the model and serial number on it. So that's the whole package there. So that's the guitar. I really like it, and I'm glad to own it for however long I'm going to own it for. I'm not sure if this is a lifetime keeper or one that we just keep around for a while and enjoy. But let's hear how it sounds with these supposedly different, but I'm not exactly sure how, custom shop P-90s.